Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to the Piper Report. I am with fellow YouTuber Jamarl Thomas, and we are going to discuss some politics today. So, Jamarl, welcome.
How goes it? How goes it?
Pretty good, I guess. Thank you for coming on. And to
No,
start things
glad
off,
glad to be here, man.
can you tell everyone about your channel, why you started it, when you started it, and I guess what's your end goal for it?
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. So my channel started the Progressive Soapbox. Look, you could search for either my name or the name of the show, the Progressive Soapbox. That'll come up. It started after being somewhat disgruntled by politics, by American politics. I think people start off in politics anywhere, just kind of with this idea of the schoolboy idea of it. The schoolyard idea of politics, that these guys go up there and they have these ideological struggles, and in these ideological struggles, you have this thicket of sorts of government. And, these guys are going back and forth. And then you eventually realize, oh, that's not necessarily how it works, that these guys are paid to take certain positions. And in taking these particular positions, it doesn't necessarily matter what the public wants. It usually boils down to who's essentially paying them to take a particular position. To the right and left. That's not necessarily one side or the other. That's both. That's American politics. It's run by corruption. Um, I the Obama administration did it for me. That was my turning point. It's like you watch 8 years of this guy who came in with soaring rhetoric, this rhetoric of this progressivism unchained, this thing of I'm gonna break loose the chains and we're gonna just this unbridled FDR moment where the public was ready, and you get Obamacare, and it's like whoa, wait a minute. That doesn't line up with the rhetoric, dude. That's a Republican right-wing plan, and you're supposed to be this flaming progressive. Not to mention this kind of drug company benefits, health company benefits, even DPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, where you had this thing of this immediate corporate giveaway. Like, I defy anybody, left or right, to read the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It's in WikiLeaks. You can read it and come to this conclusion that your government is working on your behalf.
Yeah.
It's just screwing you over. And it was this kind of manic, oh man, this is aggravating to me. That kind of bubbled over into a channel. Initially, it was me bitching and moaning, and eventually it became this kind of channel of sorts. Um, that's my channel, man. My channel goes into this kind of philosophical, political view of the world from a leftist perspective, but it's a far leftist with this basic fundamental thing of just honesty. Just be honest. Like, I don't care your side on this point. If you're looking at the world and you're regarding it honestly, we can come to some kind of, back and forth on it. But be honest. I don't think necessarily American politics functions in an honest way.
No, I
So,
agree. I mean, I
yeah.
voted for Obama in 2008, and the main reason why I voted for him was because I was really anti-Bush. In my
Yeah.
mind, Bush was a neocon hell-bent on perennial war, wanted war overseas. And then Obama
You got
essentially,
the same thing with
yeah,
Obama.
yeah, he adopts the same exact foreign policy to do the
the,
same thing.
the amazing thing about this, though, is it goes beyond it. It's this thing of the turn of the worm. Like you see a situation where they're bashing Bush for leftists, Democrats. They're angry at Bush. Oh my God, he's invading these countries. He's going into these countries. He's murdering all these people. He killed 1 million people. Obama comes in office. He's murdering people with the same drone program that
Drones,
Bush
yeah.
is doing. Yeah, and they're like, we don't have anything to say about that. We're quiet about that now that Obama is doing it. The honest person looks at that and says, well, if Bush was doing it and it was wrong. Isn't the same thing wrong with Obama doing it? These civil liberties things, where Obama is cracking down on the press, locking the whistleblowers. Donald Trump gets in office. He says, I think he alludes to whistleblowers, and the Democrats are like, hey, we
Yeah.
need to protect the whistleblowers. Obama's locking the whistleblowers for showing waste, fraud, and abuse throughout the administration. And yet, all of a sudden, Democrats didn't say squat. You get into the Trump administration, and oh my God, Trump is going after whistleblowers. It's the worst thing in the world. We need to do something to protect whistleblowers.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So then, do you believe in the Ron Paul kind of theory that people like Snowden should actually get pardoned and be able to live
Yes,
here freely?
yes, yeah, I do. It's look, man. What's the government you want, and how do you get that government, and how do you keep government accountable if you don't know what the government is doing? It's easy for a government to say this is all national security. The government has a vested interest in showing its mistakes as being, oh, this is national security. We can't tell you about our mistakes. That doesn't work. You have to have some idea. The public has to have some idea what the government is doing. And if somebody is coming out and saying the government is doing this illegal act, literally illegal, this is not me making it up. This is illegal. The government has no right to have this mass spying. Under what authorization are Bush, Obama, and, well, Obama and Trump going into these different countries, murdering these people. There's one country after the next. There's no congressional authorization on this. And showing it, saying, hey, the government is lying in this case. That's true. It's like, how are you going after Snowden? And Snowden is revealing something that's showing corruption in the government itself or something overreach, massive overreach. Yeah,
Stepping on our civil liberties, and that's
yeah,
why I agree that I think as a country we have to divert back to our founding principles, rely on the Constitution to guide us, because our founding fathers, they were smart, they were brilliant. They understood that with great power not only comes great responsibility, but also
Spider-Man line.
comes but comes ambition too, and people feed the power. They want that power. So Congress is important to actually, the three branches of government are
Yeah,
essential for a proper republic to work. And I
yeah.
think that nowadays we are kind of branching off from that notion. We're going toward more of an executive decision by itself, and a Congress is by itself, and Supreme Court's by itself. It's like no longer
Yeah.
working together.
It's weird. It's bizarre. You would think, in school it's like these branches check each other. And that's why you have this awesome government because these branches are overseeing one another. And in reality, Congress doesn't check the president at all, particularly if Congress agrees with what the president is doing in regards to this warmongering. So yeah, a president can, on his own, no congressional authorization itself, say, hey, I'm going to do a missile strike in Syria. And in doing this missile strike in Syria, no, I'm not going to have authorization from Congress. No, I'm not going to have authorization from any kind of international community. But yes, I'm going to do this missile strike. Congress goes mum. They don't say squat. Now, it was illegal. Donald Trump doing that strike was completely illegal. He didn't wait for any information to see who released it, meaning whether the Syrian government or whether it was rebels that released the Syrian. But he did it. Congress abdicated its responsibility to oversee the president completely. Congress did the same thing in the Obama administration. Complete abdication of its responsibility to oversee the executive branch. You have this emperor or this imperial president who goes about going in one country after the next. It's amazing. And I'm not talking about one party. This is both. It's like both parties accrue power in the presidency, and they utilize that power. And no branch wants to give up power that's accrued, meaning, yeah, you're going to get this imperial president. Um, that's what you have, man. I agree with you.
Oh, I think too. I mean, nowadays Congress are just as corrupt as the most corrupt presidents of all time. They want the
Yes.
power as well, and I think, I mean, for the Congress, many of them get money from special interests, primarily,
All of them.
yeah,
Yeah, all of them.
primarily like the neocons in the military-industrial complex. I mean, so for them, war is money. And
Where's
that's
my
why they always want to get overseas, more resources. And when it comes down to it, in my mind, I think it's all about globalism. That's all they want is just
Yeah,
more world influence, more control over world and the nations in the world.
I agree. I agree. And it goes beyond a little bit even beyond that. You have you have a capitalistic system, and in that system, you spend almost like $1 trillion on military. Is your congressman going to go home and say, okay, look, we're cutting the military budget in half, and all of those jobs that we're creating bombs and missiles and bullets, we're going to stop those jobs? What's going to happen to those particular people working in those industries? It's a weird way to look at it, but it's a gross economics thing at this point. We're going to war. We're creating wars of aggression. And killing people, we're creating terrorists because every bomb you drop and every person you shoot is going to be somebody else who you piss off, particularly if those people are civilians. Requiring more bombs and missiles to be created, allowing more jobs to be created in the United States. It's strange and gross, and I agree with you.
There's
Yeah.
also, with that too, I mean, for me, I'm kind of a libertarian or a classical liberal. I believe in personal freedom. And for
Yeah.
me, I think a smaller government is ideal. But kind of like you were saying earlier with the jobs, nowadays, the majority of jobs are in government. So if we would shrink the government, you are essentially decreasing people's
You're killing
jobs.
jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's
Yeah.
about 23.5 million works in government, and there's I think 14 million in the private sector. So it almost
Yeah.
outnumbers 2 to 1. So I mean, government continues to expand no matter who is the president. Me as a libertarian and a limited government, I would love to see him come in and get rid of like the Department of Education, the Department of Energy, all this stuff. I'd love to cut
Yeah.
it.
We disagree on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
I
feel you.
figured. I figured.
I, it's funny. I wrote a blog post. I think it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I made this argument that Ron Paul was the new image of the Republican Party, like saying that that's the way the party needed to go. And I was making this case and this kind of thing of you may disagree with libertarians on several fronts, but there are going to be areas where you agree. And if you have earnest agreement in those areas, you can get shit done. Like, it's not a situation of I'm just reflexively disagreeing with this particular person. This dovetail. Like, I'm pretty sure if we sit here, we're going to hit areas where we're like, all right, I disagree with that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with the government being big. I just don't want it to be big in certain areas. Like, I don't necessarily want us murdering people abroad.
Yeah.
But I understand this argument of, look, dude, if the government was smaller, we wouldn't be out there doing it. I totally get it.
Yeah, makes sense.
But,
All right.
argument.
So then, yeah, I guess, yeah, you said you're pretty much progressive then, right?
I'm a leftist. Man, these terms are slippery.
I
I'm,
hate the leftist term. For me, a leftist means like social justice warrior and safe space advocate. So,
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. These terms are so slippery. Put it this way. I'm to the left. This idea of leftist or progressive, or I don't know what those things mean. I put it this way. I'm a humanist. Let me start there. I would say usually my perspective is boiled down to, does it enhance life or does it detract from life? Um, and policy kind of goes from there. The leftist thing. I understand what you mean. This kind of social justice warrior thing. That's I'm not on that side of the left. I tend to be somewhat of a free speech advocate on this one. Um, People are going to say things that hurt your feelings, man. Get over it.
yeah,
Like, and I don't mean to be harsh about it. Don't get me wrong, there are ranges. I don't want anybody to be overtly racist in public or anything like that, or overtly sexist, nothing like that. But some of the stuff that they call racist and sexist is not always racist and
oh
sexist.
no,
It's taken from a particular context. I give you a perfect example. This thing that flared up on the left with Caitlin Johnson. Caitlin Johnson writes an article saying that the left and right need to unite, the anti-left and the anti-right, because again they dovetail. Like, there's even with this Bannon case, Bannon is kind of making this case for not intervening in North Korea. Yeah, I agree. We shouldn't intervene in North Korea. Now, I agree with Trump. Kill the TPP. Yes, I agree with him. You should take care of the TPP. Her argument was, look, in the areas that you agree with the right on, you should, hey, don't necessarily rebuff that. Like, don't
yeah,
necessarily be so reflexive that, okay, I'm against them in each and everything that they do. When they're against anti-war, you're going to be reflexively against the right. Of course not. So Caitlin Johnson comes out with an article saying, yeah, in some right issues you need to agree. People, they attacked her for weeks. They went after that woman for weeks, saying, oh, she's a leftist. Oh, she's a Nazi. She's trying to hug a Nazi. Like, all of the stuff. She's what does they call her? Alt left. She's a sympathizer. These weird comments that went on for a week. They're like, repudiate the left, repudiate the right, repudiate the right. These weird
yeah,
comments. And it becomes this thing of, do you believe that by saying repudiate him, that they're somehow going to change how I feel about it? It's almost like I got you. I just want you to say it. It's not that I think anything is fundamentally changed and you saying, I just want to get you to say it. Some of the stuff gets insane, man. So no, I'm not necessarily in that camp of this SJW stuff.
yeah.
I think identity is a problem. Like, dealing with the way Democrats run in their elections is a problem.
I would agree. I'll bring up an example too, like kind of what you're saying, how it's highly partisan. For
Yeah.
instance, people on the left automatically hate those on the right, no matter what. There's
But
been a couple.
that goes both ways. Go
Yeah,
on, that
no,
goes
no,
both
I
ways.
know. That's what I'm gonna say
Yeah.
here. It's been a couple times. For one instance, a guy went up to a social justice warrior rally and he did a Hitler speech, and they all cheered for it. And then likewise, people gave Trump supporters and people on the right Hillary Clinton's policies, and they said it was Trump's policies, and they're like, "Oh, that's great, that's great." So it's just that's how it goes. People assume right away because they align to one political affiliation that they have to believe it automatically. No one really
Yeah.
wants to actually open their mind anymore and expand their
Yes.
knowledge. And
Preach.
yeah,
Preach. No, dude, I wholeheartedly, yes, that's true. It's tribal. Like, you get to this thing where it's coming out that person's mouth, so I automatically disagree with what's coming out that person's mouth.
yeah,
One of the best things that's ever happened to me was unhinging myself from the political system in that sense. It's like, this is look, I have this saying, it's like, be the integrity. I stole it from Newsroom. And I use that saying in a sense, I don't have to agree with you. I just need to know you're being earnest. Um, and if you're telling me that, I give you another example. All of these people hated the Muslim ban. I think it's a horrible idea. I don't like the idea. But then you got to bring up, but you understand Obama was bombing those countries. Like, those same countries. He was bombing those countries. Nobody went to the airports. Nobody protested. Nobody did any of that stuff. You were okay with him doing it, but Trump comes in, you, same legislation to some degree. Like, very similar legislation that Obama pushed out. It's a Muslim ban. Oh my God, Trump is doing a Muslim ban. Hey, you realize that was taking place in the last administration.
Yeah.
I know what Trump is doing it.
Yeah. So
They
it's
mistaken,
different. So it's different now, and it matters now.
yeah. It's like they mistaken tone, this idea of how Trump comes across for substance. There's gonna look. I don't like Trump. People know how I feel about Trump, but you can't. It's like you can't take this perspective that each and everything that takes place is wrong. It's gonna make you look ridiculous. You're gonna be stepping on your own toes in that sense. The moment, look, my thinking is the moment that somebody can prove that you're being biased or something like that, they're going to turn their ears off. Meaning, there's nothing that they're going to want to hear. You say, okay, yeah, you're being biased. You're saying something that prior you were totally for. That's spunk. And that's the problem with the party thing. These people are being tribal in the way they're going about their support for the parties. So yeah, the hypocrisy doesn't come across there. They're oblivious to it.
I feel the same way, I guess, about Bernie Sanders too. It seems like I'm going to kind of throw up just a generalization here that
Go for it.
a lot of Bernie supporters are similar to a lot of Trump supporters. That they basically think they can do no wrong. No matter what, they have to be right. Either Bernie's right in his decisions or Trump's right on his decisions. And I think that to actually bring people together to achieve confluence and congregate, they actually have to realize that no, Bernie's not right about everything. Trump's not right about everything. We should maybe talk more and find what we agree on so we can
Yes,
continue to grow together as a country and as a civilization.
I agree. Look, part of the problem with this is the conversation is you have to understand America has a complex history. Like, and that complex history complicates everything. Like, the moment that you're having a conversation about identity, that conversation creates divisions in your particular society because it exacerbates this history of sorts. Um, so you get into these issues when you're having a conversation about the right with issues of, and look, the left too. These ideas of multiculturalism and everything else, and those things automatically create these factions in your society that are bumping heads with one another, where it doesn't really matter what the person is saying. It becomes these issues of this person is not accepting who I am. Bernie's people are, yeah, man. I'm beginning to think this is just a human thing. Like somebody gets to the point of saying, "Oh my God, I love this guy," and in loving that guy, you're on that wavelength. So it doesn't matter what the person is saying, doesn't matter what the person is doing. It comes across as, well, that person is doing it, so that it
It
must
has to
be
be
right.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when people broke away. Some of my have some scathing things I've said about Bernie Sanders, and same progressive did too. Same
Yeah.
progressive had lost like a lot of her subscribers, because she went on this tirade about Bernie Sanders before I think anybody else that I saw go on a tirade about Sanders. But you still have a lot of people who would get angry at you for saying, how dare you talk about Sanders in that way.
Yeah.
I feel you, man. It becomes this individual thing. This is my guy. This is the guy I'm sticking with. Whatever this guy says, I'm standing behind this guy.
Tribal thing, like you said.
It's tribal. It's tribal. It doesn't become. Look, for Sanders, it was an issue of ideas to some degree too, but there's still this tribal aspect to this of how dare you say anything bad about Bernie Sanders? I feel you, man. It's tribal. And look, Trump, like you said, what Trump supporters do, that Trump made the statement, I could shoot somebody and they would still support me. Yeah, kind of.
You know, I'll be honest. There's probably a lot we disagree on, and we could go back and forth, Trump and Bernie, all that stuff, and right and
Yeah.
left. But for this, I guess we'll go over on what we agree on because I don't want this interview to get hostile. So we'll continue what we're doing here. I'm just throwing it out there that.
Hostile. Everyone get hostile.
Yeah, right.
I don't have ties to anybody in this case.
Based on
It
your
may
own
be kind of,
principles. It's based on your own
yeah,
principles. That's how it
it's
is
a
for
good
me too.
principle.
Like I recently did a video about Anna Kasparian and it got a lot of publicity. And
Yeah.
some people called me a Nazi on it right away. All this stuff. It's like I'm actually a libertarian. Like
Oh,
there's no
yeah.
Nazi salute here or anything like that. But they automatically assume that if you attack who they like and represent, and then all of a sudden you are the worst thing possible to them,
Yeah.
which is a Nazi. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, oh my god, yeah.
They got mad at me because of my article. I wrote an article saying it got published in Counterpunch. It was freedom of speech. It's precisely for the speech you don't like. It's a Noam Chomsky line. Noam Chomsky, the people were attacking, and this was years ago, they were attacking Noam Chomsky. And Chomsky, in his fiery rebuttal, made that statement, freedom of speech is precisely for the speech you don't like. Look, man, I don't want a bunch of Nazis running around in Charlottesville, Virginia, to be the thing that unravels this idea of freedom of speech. And the government will use that unraveling for bad ends. I don't trust the government's, to use that for that reason. I don't trust the government calling people terrorists and all of a sudden putting people on black sites.
Yeah.
So I damn sure don't want them unraveling this idea of the First Amendment, which means that you're going to have to deal with people who are saying things you don't like sometimes.
Well, that's but my opinion for the longest time. I mean, there's really no such thing as hate speech because what's hate speech to you may not be hate speech to somebody else.
You're saying just, yeah, it's relative.
You know.
I understand it from a basic philosophical level. Yes, you can make the case that everything is relative.
But I mean,
Um,
I should back up a little bit too. I mean, but for instance, if I'm like wearing a Nazi shirt, I'm in the public square saying "Let's go kill all of these people," then I mean that does cross the line. If it can incent violence, like you are calling for violence, then that crosses the line because you are actually trying to cause violence. But
well, but those are different things. You're saying
yeah,
those are
that's what I'm
slightly
trying to
different.
say.
You're making this point that this idea of hate speech, everything is relative to other people, meaning what's relative to me is relative to you, et cetera, et cetera. Uh, that's fair, but come on, you know that there's like a if you did a 0 to 10, 10 being like Hitler versus 0 being I don't know sitting on a porch somewhere. There are degrees.
Yeah,
I feel you. I know what you're getting at. I know the basic thing I'm saying. Look, technically, it isn't hate speech because personal, it's individual in that sense. Um,
I guess my point here I'm trying to make is that, for instance, like saying something that you might offend somebody it isn't really necessarily hate speech, but if you're out in a public square and saying let's go kill him,
yes,
that's crossing the line. And what my point is that most people don't differentiate between the two. They
oh, I
assume
see.
it's the same thing, and I think
It's
that
not.
we really have to get away from that type of mentality because it's only going to increase political polarization for everyone.
Well, keep in mind, part of that is political. Like the so this is one of those things. Democrats and Republicans play with this. Man, I hate this conversation of identity, but part of they use that hate speech and everything else to tar the opponent. This guy's being hateful. Well, if you can make the case that this person is being hateful, you can create somewhat of a pejorative. You can dismiss what the person is saying if you think they're being hateful. Um, so there's a political element to doing that. Like it's not fully this just these people with principles and one person with principles calls the other person hate speech. No, I agree with you. Most of those things comes in ranges though. Like it's not. I find myself having difficulty with it because it's in ranges. Like everybody's perspective is somewhat relative to other people's perspective. I look at a particular thing, and to me, this looks pretty racist. Somebody else says, yeah, dude, no, not so much. It's perfectly okay. Somebody else says, that is absolutely, other people have certain perspectives of things. That's fair. There is no objective perspective in essence. There is no guy in the middle. It's all relative to one another. So I understand. I understand.
So
I agree.
then, do you find it, I guess, strange that the media, primarily the media on the left, denigrates the white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, but then ignores like Antifa and the Black Lives Matter activists that even turned violent at times? I mean, because Black Lives Matter, in a few times, chanted "death to pigs" on the streets. And I think I only heard Fox News saying that. And I'm no fan of Fox News, but if you have a group of people from a certain ethnicity saying let's kill him, him, and him, you would think it'd be discussed more all over, not just one particular side.
Well, Fox News, let's be honest, Fox News has a particular agenda.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Well, they
it's
all
not
do.
like
They all do though.
yeah, it's not like Fox News is, this the center of this idea of they're
Freedom.
going to give you this honest contextual view of the world. No, Fox News has a particular perspective. I didn't see the Black Lives Matter thing chanting death and so forth. I would say there's a difference between some group coming together and reacting to something as opposed to a group forming for the sake of something. Um, I don't personally. I don't think Black Lives Matter is a terrorist group or anything else. So let me put that out there first. The Antifa thing. I got to be honest. I don't know a huge amount about the Antifa thing. You had a bunch of white nationalists who decided to go to Charlottesville. Well, a handful, maybe 300 or 400, and the mainstream media is making a big mess out of it. Oh man, look, my response to this is people dislike it, but it's this thing of if you want to have a bunch of people go out who say belligerent things, all of the legal papers were in. They can say whatever they want, as long as they're not attacking anybody, as long as they're not being violent to anybody. Have at it. Free speech is free speech, even for people you don't like and you think are detestable. The Antifa thing, my issue with that is They went there knowing full well what was going to happen. You get a group of people, and it's like from a tactical standpoint, do you just ignore them? They're irrelevant. It's like Charlottesville doesn't become an issue if nobody is there to make Charlottesville an issue. Meaning those guys are irrelevant. You had 500, 300, 400, 500 people marching out of a country of 325 million people. That's the reality. That's the bare bones reality of it. You had another group who their intentions might have been right, meaning they're going to this, we're going to rebuff fascism, as they call it. We're going to rebuff this white nationalism thing. What do you think is going to happen when you're confronting people in this
Yeah.
way? It's you're going to piss people off. It's look, it's not. It's one of those things of, hey, they're probably going to have some kind of conflict if you go there and deal with Nazis in
Well,
this way.
I did a couple of videos recently about that too. I have denounced that white nationalism in Charlottesville, but
Yeah,
in my video I said that those same people as white nationalists didn't decide to all of a sudden go to Charlottesville and start damaging property and hurting others. They were met by people with opposing ideologies, and when you
yeah.
put two people who strongly disagree with each other and
There's going to be conflict.
that are angry at each other, exactly, you're gonna have a conflict. So
Yeah,
When Trump said many sides were involved, and then he got just basically flamed and torched from everyone because he said that, I don't agree with that at all. I think there were many sides involved because it wasn't just like the white nationalists went over there and like, you know what, let's start damaging property. They met
yeah,
resistance and they overreacted, but so did Antifa and other
yeah.
members.
They murdered somebody.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. Don't get me wrong with that, but I mean,
Yeah,
there's blame on both sides, and I hate how the media tries to only pinpoint as Trump is the blame for it.
well, keep in mind the media has.
Agenda.
Yeah, yeah, man. The white nationalist thing is it's gross any way you put it, and ultimately it's like yes, those people can march. Yes, you can free to be detestable. That's just the way it is. I still say religious leaders going there, they may have went there for a higher cause in that sense. You know, we need to rebuff this. We have a horrible history in this country. We don't want to go back to this particular thing. I don't believe white nationalism is on the rise. Like, I don't have this belief that white supremacy is about to take over. Look, it's like, look at the country here. I mean, this country has have certain structures in this particular country that are slanted in a particular way. These guys are the most vulgar instance of racism in the country. It's not. It's 500 people. It's a handful of people. Let those people die of irrelevance, in my mind. Let them have their march. What are they going to do? There is no Charlottesville without any kind of conflict in Charlottesville. Nobody would have known.
Yeah.
Nobody would have talked about it. It would have died of irrelevance, as opposed to halting this thing up as something that's actual something. And mainstream media gets its kicks off of saying, hey, this is popular. Let's put asses in seats and let's go with this angle. And let's attack Donald Trump with this angle because Donald Trump is going to have a hard time repudiating these people, knowing that these people are in his base.
Yeah.
Like, this stuff is, we have a narrative dealing with Trump. Let's embolden this narrative with Trump. Let's ask Trump questions about this particular narrative. Let's keep at Trump with this narrative. Like, I don't like it because it's inflaming something that doesn't necessarily. Yeah, I don't like it because it's inflaming something. I think media is blowing it out of proportion. That's what I think.
Yeah,
I think they're
it's
using.
funny too because it comes back what you were saying earlier. It all comes back to a full circle of a tribal narrative, a tribal mentality. I mean, if it was say if it was someone else besides Trump in the office, say Ted Cruz in the office, the same thing happened. They would
Wouldn't matter.
still, yeah, they would do the same thing. So, like we were talking about earlier, it's still just that tribal mentality, and I think the only way to actually overcome that is to actually open our minds and talk to each other. Like me and you, we're talking right now. We don't
Yeah,
probably disagree on maybe like 30% we agree on stuff, but we're able to sit here and talk and describe our ideas, and I think that
yeah,
actually helps bring us together overall.
I agree. I think it does too. You would, yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree on that point. I think we disagree with the Black Lives Matter thing,
Yeah.
and I think we disagree. I haven't seen the balance associated with it. And look, like you said, the media might have just been kind of covering a certain thing. Um, in my mind, it's certainly you knew what was going to happen if you're going there for, it was like we're going to rebuff Nazis. Okay, you understand what's going to take place
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
go
it's
there
gonna
to rebuff
happen.
Nazis, right? It's like they're Nazis. If they're being belligerent to each other, okay, but that's not really the case. They're going to be belligerent to somebody who's opposing them.
Yeah.
Again, the opposition. I understand where the opposition is coming from. Look, look, from my own standpoint, there's this thing where you feel like I, you need to rebuff certain ideas. It's like I don't want people to get the impression that this is the country. We need to rebuff these ideas. We need to make sure that we stand strong in opposition to this idea. I agree with that in principle. It becomes this thing though of strategy. It's like It's a strategy of posing each and everything, even when it's irrelevant. It's like you're playing chess. Somebody does something at the far end of the board, and you're like, we need to divert resources to the far end of the board to
Yeah.
deal with this thing. No,
Yeah.
I don't care what the opponent is doing over there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You've just made it an issue by doing it. Um, but I can't fault them. Like it's one of those things of I think it's a bad strategy. I understand where the strategy comes from. I understand the need for okay, we don't want this in our society. We need to rebuff this. We need to stand strong against this. So I get it. I don't necessarily think they're coming from a bad place, but certainly it's combustible.
Yeah.
Certainly it's foreseeable to be
That's yeah.
combustible.
I mean, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, I can understand where they're coming from. I don't agree with it, but I can
Yeah.
understand it. But you
Well,
mentioned
that's a good point though. So that's a good question. I'm curious. Your how do you view the Antifa thing? What's your how do you process that in your head when you're thinking about? Because I have to be honest, I don't know enough about Antifa to have a perspective.
Antifa, in my mind, they stand for anti-fascist, or it's short for
No, no,
that. Yeah, no, no, but they actually implement fascist tactics to get their political ideology crossed. Like, for instance, they deny speakers from speaking at universities because they don't like what they have to say. They cause riots a lot too. I mean, their whole premise is to disrupt any type of social normality between people that just want to go. Like, for instance, there's a rally. I think Milo did a rally, and yes, Milo, he's a really, I guess, interesting person, for lack of a better
that go. That's
phrase.
definitely yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
like
lack of a
that's like
better phrase.
immensely likely. Yeah, likely.
But he's not actually out there causing harm or like trying to get violence against people. But they want to block him from speaking, and in my mind, they incorporate fascist tactics in the name of anti-fascism.
It's
And
funny. The last line in my article is, "I don't want to become a fascist to stop a fascist." Like it's
South
like
Park
I don't.
said a great quote on one of their episodes. I almost let racism make me a racist. It's true. It's true. I mean, South Park has some good messages here every now and then. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Racism make you a racist.
It can.
Well, but think about it though. I mean, it is making me a racist is too strong, but it is. There's something to be said for. Let's take it out of our context. Let's put it in a different context. You're in a society that has a certain level of oppression that's gone through the history of that society. There are bad, bad things, putting it mildly, that happen in that particular society. What's the response of the people who are at the end of that going to be? Is it going to be, you know, unicorns and rainbows, or is it going to be some reaction to being in the situation of oppression? I think you're going to get a reaction to it just as a human experience. Now, Antifa's responses to these things, yeah, it's somebody on my page one day said something like, well, free speech means we can block protests. I was like, no, it doesn't. That's the opposite of
That's a
free speech.
complete
Yeah,
opposite.
that's the complete opposite of free speech. That is not free speech. Now, you're free to counter protest. You're free to bitch and moan in the same way that those people are bitching and moaning. Fair enough. It shouldn't resort to violence. It shouldn't be a situation where you guys are out there having street fights.
Yeah.
What's the end goal? Is the end goal for each situation that somebody comes up to contest that particular situation, have a street fight in one city after the next all across the United States? It doesn't make sense. You fight this stuff dealing. I think a lot of this stuff boils down to economics. Honestly, do. And I think this is issues of class, not race. I don't think you fight this stuff at the level that they're fighting it. That's all. If somebody's going to do a speech, I don't care, man. I don't care. It's one of those things of think about where that goes and think about how that functions both ends. Like, what if the right creates some kind of group that does the exact same thing? Like, what does that mean? What does that mean for the country if you have these two groups going from place to place, essentially having fights with each other?
Yeah.
I don't like the end result of it. I just don't like the conceptual projection of what that can become.
Alrighty. I know, for instance, last week on the media a lot it dealt with North Korea and what was
Yeah,
going to be Trump administration's response to it. So,
yeah,
do you feel that North Korea is a real threat, and do you
no,
think we should go to war with North Korea?
no, hell no, hell no,
So, what should happen with
no.
North Korea
Look,
then?
this is one of those things. I agree with Steve Bannon. I that leaves a bad taste in my mouth because Bannon is a white nationalist. But again, this is where we get to this thing where there's a dovetail in regards to anti-establishment, right and left. No, I don't think they're a threat. No, I don't think we should be using our military to destroy those people. And Bannon had this amazing line saying, I don't know if you read his interview. He
Yeah.
did this interview with his leftist journalist, and he made this point. There's no military solution to North Korea. Any attack on North Korea is going to kill millions of people in South Korea in 30 minutes. He's right.
Yeah.
Unless if you don't care about South Korea and if you don't care about Japan, then yes, you can attack North Korea. If you care about your allies, meaning you don't necessarily want some kind of war to be started where you get millions of people killed in South Korea, then no, you can't attack North Korea.
You know what's really interesting? I actually heard this on a channel called We Are Change. I don't know
Yeah,
who the.
I
Yeah,
know that. Yeah,
he has like I think 500,000 subs or something, and he showed I guess articles from back then that China actually did work out a deal between the U.S. and North Korea. The
mhm,
U.S. had to stop its military games in South
yeah,
Korea, and then North Korea would stop their nuclear program. But North Korea said yes to it, but U.S.
yes,
denied it three
yeah.
different times. So if the
You
U.S.
gotta
would have,
understand.
if the
Oh,
U.S. would have accepted it, then it would have been, I mean, really no, I guess, hostility between each other. But then
you gotta
again,
understand. This isn't the United States is an aggressor. Like this is, I know the media, from our standpoint, never regard us honestly. Like when they're talking about us, so they wouldn't necessarily bring up Iraq, meaning did they have weapons of mass destruction in Iraq?
yeah,
That never comes up. Killing a million people in Iraq never comes up. You're having these conversations about Russia hacked us and all this other stuff. You're making this point like, dude, that doesn't make sense. Did they have weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? The media doesn't regard its failures, honestly, because the media was towing the line that they had weapons of mass destruction. We got to go to war. We got to kill all these people. North Korea is similar. I mean, in the North Korean case, it's a little bit more ridiculous. There were articles coming out saying that the missile thing was a hoax, even though the media toes the line of the government completely uncritically. Oh my God, North Korea has a nuclear missile. We got to do something right away. We killed 20% of their country in the Korean War. Think about that. 20% of a country. That's their perspective. Like we never take the perspective of the countries that we're dealing with. So in Vietnam, we didn't take the perspective of what did the Vietnamese thinking in that particular war. Well, the Vietnamese thought we were trying to take over their country. The United States was not trying to take over their country. The Vietnamese looked at us as being another invader in the way they looked at France. The United States was not trying to be France in Vietnam. That was a conversation. That wasn't necessarily a war where you needed to kill millions of people. I regard this in a similar way. They look at us as these guys invaded all of those countries in the Middle East. They killed 20% of our population in the last war that we had with them. It's possible they can do the same thing again. So no, we're not giving up our nuclear weapons. The only deterrent that we have is a nuclear weapon.
that's even Ron Paul's viewpoint too. I mean, he brought up a good example. How would you feel if in the U.S. all of a sudden China came over and started dictating what we had to do and how we had to
Yeah,
live? It
it,
piss us
it,
off and
it's
people would fight. It's the same premise can be extrapolated overseas. I mean, we're over there trying to dictate how this government should work, and the people
agreed,
there don't want it. So of course they're going to fight back.
agreed. Not to mention we still have all those troops at the border.
Yeah.
I mean, we still, I mean, technically that war is still going on. In their mind, the United States' military troops right there at our border. The United States killed a fifth of our country in the last war that we fought with the United States. And the war's still going on. That's kind of the point. We don't have North Korean troops at our border. You know what I mean? So from the standpoint of them, where this guy, this puppet dictator, comes in and says, look, they can attack us at any moment. We're under constant threat. We need you to protect our leader. He's controlling that particular country, control that particular narrative, and that narrative being the United States can attack them at any moment.
Yeah.
But the United States could attack them at any moment, particularly with Trump. So the deal with China would be a good idea. No, we don't have any capacity to attack North Korea
No.
militarily.
I mean,
I don't, and I damn sure don't think we should. That's it.
no. Like for me
Yeah,
too, I'm a libertarian, so I'm an anti-war. And what I think, if we really wanted to get rid of North Korea, we should have done it decades ago when we had the chance. But now that
yeah,
they have nuclear warheads and they have the ability to defend themselves and basically slaughter the next door neighbor like
yeah,
by the millions, it's too
yeah.
late for us to do some type of military advance.
But that's
So
the point of getting a nuclear bomb. Like
yeah,
that's
to
the reason
defend,
why
yeah,
Iran is trying to get a bomb. That's the reason why the other countries they look at it as this is our own deterrent against the United States attacking us.
yeah,
So yeah, we need to look at these things from those countries' perspective. And oftentimes the United States doesn't. It's just bluster and we can do whatever we want. I am not on this bandwagon of war. It's one thing if we're under attack or under threat, but that's not the situation we find ourselves.
You know what's really funny about this too is that war is the only thing that the establishment media and establishment congressional, Democrats, Republicans agree on. Like when
All of
Trump
them
when
agree on it.
Trump bombed Syria, I saw on
Oh,
CNN they were for it, on Fox News. I mean, everyone was for it. They always come
they,
together for a war, and that kind of scares me because if a country's really going to shit, all they have to do is really make up some false flag if something happened overseas, send their troops there. And false flags are real. I did a video called 27 Admitted False Flags, and some of the stuff we did as a country and our allies like Britain did are truly disgusting. Like
they
really
are.
disgusting.
They are. It's people always think that stuff is conspiracy theory.
No,
It's not.
no.
It's what was it? The ship.
A
All
Gulf of
countries.
Tonkin? Oh, never mind.
Well, yeah, it was the Gulf of Tonkin was one for the Vietnam one. There's one before that, the one with Cuba. I called it Lusitania. It's not singular Lusitania. I got that wrong. But
Operation Dropkick, Northwoods, Big Itch, one of those.
it had to do with us attacking Cuba,
Yeah.
taking it from Spain, using some again pretense of a lie to do it. All governments come up with ideas. All governments have great reasons to go to war. Usually those reasons are full of it.
Yeah.
The populations are not all that inclined for war. Governments are. There's a difference in those things. So they give the population a reason why they need to go to war. I need to send your babies to kill and murder for this particular reason. So yeah, you have the Gulf of Tonkin. Yes, you have weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Yes, Germany and the burning of the Reichstag. At least they think it was Hitler that did it. Yeah, you have false flags.
Yeah.
They come up with reasons.
Oh yeah. All right. I guess we'll change topics. Since you are on the left, what do you think of the future of the Democratic Party?
There is no future to the Democratic Party. That's what I'm
That's
at.
a good answer. That's a good answer. That's what I think.
I want that party to burn to the ground. I am in a scorched earth perspective of this. Nothing changes. And look, we're probably going to immensely disagree regardless of policy on this, but let's put that to the side for the moment. Nothing changes unless, look, voting for the Democrat, even when that person is not necessarily in your best interest, doesn't change the Democratic Party. Making them lose fundamentally changes the party, meaning continuously losing over and over and over again until they realize that they need to represent the fundamental basis of their party. What is your philosophical basis of the party? Oftentimes, these guys get up there and use this rhetoric, talking like FDR, but behaving kind of like Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Like you said, these globalists, these guys who are out there, these imperial presidents who are not necessarily paying attention to the things that go on at home, or at the very least are perfectly okay with raping the country in order to enrich themselves.
Yeah.
No, these guys need to lose. They've lost, 1,000 seats? House, Senate, Supreme Court, presidency. They lost everything.
Yeah. In the last
And
6 years,
Yeah, and
they're
they
down
still
1,000
double
seats.
down.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They still double down. So we're going to put up Hillary Clinton, and we're going to play up Donald Trump, and we're going to put a gun to America's head and say, either you vote for Hillary Clinton or you get Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And the public say, we'll take the reality shows. We'll take Trump. Now, that's embarrassing in and of itself. Have you read the book Shattered? You should read the book Shattered. As a libertarian, you get a nice, pretty kick out of it.
No,
There's a moment in the book where Hillary Clinton is, people are calling her, like the night after the election, where she's like losing her shit. She lost. People are like, why did you lose the reality shows? Are you okay? It's so bad. She lost the reality shows. I'm sorry that she lost to Donald Trump. How did you lose to Donald Trump? And she said, no, I didn't lose. It was Russia and Comey. Russia and Comey did it. And
I
need
heard her
to get
say it
all
on the news. She said it on the news many
Yeah,
times.
that was the only thing in the news. I need to get the media to realize that it was Russia and Comey, that Hillary Clinton, didn't lose this election
Yeah.
on my own. It was Russia and Comey. They put that out there, the media. The media ran with it. Now, they didn't want to talk about why they lost 50 million people. They didn't want to talk about how she lost to Donald Trump. They didn't want to talk about the 1,000 seats that they lost during the elections in the States. Nope. Trump and Russia, and a loss because of Comey and Russia.
They're trying to
It's an
also.
amazing thing.
They're
That's
trying to blame it too that like Russia was responsible for getting Wisconsin to go red for the first time like in 2 decades.
That's
Likewise,
amazing.
I mean, so Russia had so much influence that 3 different states that were always blue went red. Really, so Russia affected those states more than other states, or
Russia apparently affected all of these elections and all of these states. It's an amazing thing to say.
yeah,
And the media ran with it
yeah,
uncritically, just like they were uncritical of the Iraq War, just like they were uncritical, I imagine, of the Gulf Tonkin, just like they were uncritical of one issue after the next. And they ran with it. And now they're having an investigation into something that never took place. It's amazing. But I would say that's the death knell of the party. They're not talking about. There's certain things that are the wheelhouse of the Democrats, meaning economics. Democrats, whether you believe it's a good idea or not, for the most part, believe in this idea of this thing of bringing people up. This idea of economic renewal for the lower part, the 99% in that sense. That's not how they've been governing, and there's no way a Democrat can make the argument that that's what they've been focused on the past 8, 9, 10, 20 years, particularly starting with Bill Clinton. And you can even make an argument starting back at Jimmy Carter, this kind of neoliberal policies that they started to implement during these times, during these years. They take their eye off the ball, and they're still doubling down with this idea of choosing Tom Perez. It's like one guy after the next. They paid, what, $21 million in, I can't remember the state, Ossoff.
30 million, I think it was actually. 30
Yeah,
million.
for a
John
guy
Ossoff,
to
yeah.
pretend to be a Republican and lose to an actual Republican.
Yeah.
Be who you are.
Yeah.
Even if you lose, be who you are. Um,
It's
yeah,
funny
I don't know
too.
the future of the Democratic Party. They don't have one if they continue this way.
Well, that's I'm going to say too. They keep nominating people to lead them, like Nancy Pelosi, for instance. I mean, really? So Nancy, you want someone like Nancy Pelosi to be your leader in the House when the Democrats are down 1,000 seats? I think it's
Yeah,
time to go towards a new angle, maybe. And they keep on Tom Perez, like you said. Really, they should have picked Keith Ellison.
Bishop Ellison. Yeah.
I'm no fan of him, and I could really. I mean, I don't want to talk about him, but he would have been the logical choice to
Who are
pick.
you talking about? Ellison?
Yeah.
Oh,
To
okay, yeah. He would have
actually.
been a logical choice for what took place, for
Yeah.
losing to Donald Trump and losing so much.
Yeah.
You would think you'd
Exactly.
say, okay, we're going to sit down, we're going to let the adults take the wheel.
Yeah.
We got to double down.
So that's
We need to double
in
down.
my mind, I think the two-party system is flawed. I think it's just horrible because to get on the debate stage, you got a third-party candidate has to have 15% of a vote. So it's
Yeah.
like, how can you actually get other ideas out there if they have to have 15% of a vote and the media never reports on them.
Well,
So it's
that's the thing.
they're always trying to bring up only two parties and it's just the same thing over and over and over.
That's the point. But that's the goal. You have to understand that
Oh
that's
yeah,
when people talk about establishment. That's what they're talking about. You have two parties. Those two parties come up with this idea of latitude. It's like, all right, this is the level of political debate that we're going to have. The media itself just plays up that particular level of debate. They're agreeing on the same things. The majority of the stuff that these two parties talk about, there's only a minor disagreement between those things. When you're talking about war, economics, they for the most part agree. The level is the degree to which they're having this conversation. 15% to get on the stage is insane. That's maddening. That's
yeah,
insane. How are you going to get 15% when nobody even knows who you
yeah,
are?
exactly. Yeah,
It makes no sense. They're doing that purely to exclude other people from the vote. Democrats do it because they want to say, hey, we're a little bit better than the Republicans. Vote for us. So yes, they don't want the Green Party. They don't want people attacking them from their right. And of course, Republicans don't want people attacking them from their left, meaning they don't want
that was
libertarians.
actually their slogan too. Have you seen the other guy? It's like really. So you're gonna double down and do that again? Like it didn't work for Hillary. Hillary's whole campaign was vote for me. I'm not Donald Trump.
I'm not Donald Trump.
It wasn't about like here I'll do this. I'll do this. It was vote for me or else you get him. And people were like,
It
well,
was,
screw you. I don't like you. So I'm gonna vote for him then.
you had this indignity of people, hundreds of thousands, who didn't vote for the president at all, who vote for the other people and say, okay, I can't choose. I can't choose. Just left it blank. And it was this combination of vote for me because that guy is horrible
Yeah.
and I have a vagina. Vote for me. I'm Hillary Clinton. Well, she ran her campaign with this idea of I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. There's a hot place. What is it? There's a cold place in hell for somebody who doesn't vote for a woman who doesn't vote for Hillary Clinton. It was so overt. Like it was.
Who said that? A boxer, Barbara Boxer, or
I can't remember who
it was
said it,
someone who said
but I
it.
know what you're talking about. It was
Yeah.
one of them who said something like, yeah, there's a special place in hell for a
Hell for
woman that doesn't vote for Hillary Clinton. Like it was amazing.
wow.
Everybody was sexist. Everybody was either a Bernie bro or an Obama boy. It's, it's insane, man. It's insane. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No.
It may have worked for the past few years. Obama might have been good at pulling it off. Hillary Clinton was not. Hillary Clinton was
No.
not. Yeah. They're doubling down. Look. The resurgence of the Democratic Party is to move further to the left. They don't believe it. They believe that moving to the right is what they need to do. They don't get it. You have 50% of the country that don't vote. Those people feel left out of the political
See, I
process.
don't know. I would disagree on that. I view
Go
it
for it.
as the majority of the right and the left are actually moving more to the left. Like the Republicans in Congress are no longer conservative. They're more moderate now. They believe in bigger government. They believe in more spending. They believe in taxes are still high. They don't believe in really cutting taxes a lot. Or if they do believe in it, they actually don't do it in Congress. They mean for Obamacare, they talk about repealing it, but then they
Yeah.
want to basically replace with the same thing. So I think they're really moving left. The right is, anyways. Congressional Republicans are, in my mind.
Um, I guess it depends on what you mean by left. Like, if you're saying that just
Uh,
any governmental spending is moving to the left, I mean, even
yeah,
with the tax thing, they were doing their best. They couldn't kill Obamacare. They would have lost their seats. Like the
that's just it, though. I mean, they ran on repealing and replacing Obama or repealing Obamacare, and then when they get in there, they're like, you know
that
what?
was
No, we're going to
politics.
lose our. And it's funny
Yeah,
too
that was
because
politics.
yeah,
That was just politics. That was
when
some,
Obama was in office too, I mean, they sent him a repeal bill. I think it was like 41 times, and then when he's out, they don't even bother anymore. They just all right, whatever. We don't want to
I
do it
was
anymore.
watching the dog chase the car. I was
Yeah.
like, there's no way they're gonna bite into the car. It's like, yeah, what are you gonna do with the car now that you got it? You know, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna repeal healthcare? Now, I wasn't. I was like, there's no way. They may do it, but I was like, there's no way. They would lose their seats. And that tax cut, it was like, we're gonna give a tax cut to millionaires in order to take away people's healthcare. I had, I, I have videos saying, please take that vote. Repeal it. Take that vote. I would love for them to take that vote and get up there and explain to those people why they don't have health care. I know Obamacare wasn't great. I know for the most part, some people were still going into debt because of health care. I know some people didn't even have health care. But imagine the number of people who did get it and was going to lose it. And that's the vote that they would have had to get up there to explain. I don't think they had the balls to do it. I didn't think, look, sometimes I'm thinking Republicans are rabid. At the very least, they seem to be this kind of idea of, okay, this would be a bad idea to do. People would be pissed at us. Yeah, it's funny. You call that moving to the left. I don't think repealing health care is moving to the left. I'm sorry. I don't think there's any context where you're saying a repeal of health care is moving to the left.
I should clarify what I meant by, I mean, when they move to the left, they're going to repeal it and go with something completely conservative or free market wise, but then they end up doing more subsidies and everything like that. The only thing they want to do, like you said, is give a tax cut to the rich of the rich. So in
Yeah,
essence, they keep everything the same except they give a tax cut to the
it's
rich.
tax cut.
Yeah,
It's weird, man. It's like you're going to come up with a worse Obamacare.
yeah,
Like that's essentially what they wanted the people to vote on. It's like you have these guys who are anti healthcare, like you were saying, for the most part. Some people who just wanted to repeal it. This is a horrible idea. Let's just repeal it. And then you had the ideas. Okay. We can't repeal it all, so we'll get these guys to vote on Obamacare Light, which is still Obamacare.
yeah, which
Like
is
a
still the
version
same
of
thing,
Obama.
but
Yeah, it's like a worse version of Obamacare.
yeah.
And you want Republicans to take a vote on a healthcare bill. Good luck. Good luck with that one.
You know, it all comes back to it then. That's why I think term limits for Congress are so essential.
Mm-hmm.
Because Republicans, like you said, they're afraid to lose their seats
Yeah.
after they said they're going to replace Obamacare, and if they actually did, they'd probably lose their seats. So if you do
Yeah.
term limits, they actually have more incentive to actually do what they preach, if you will, and
That's interesting.
because they know they'll be out in 8 years or whatever.
That's interesting. Yeah, maybe. When they still have that incentive, like so, if you go into office, you say I'm going to do X, and you don't do X. Shouldn't it be up to the people themselves to make a determination on whether those people should be in office? Like for instance, all those guys who are running, and those guys say we're going to repeal Obamacare. They're like, oh yeah, we're not going to do that. Isn't it up for the voters to kind of make that choice on whether or not to take them out of their seats because they didn't do what they said they were
Yeah.
going to do? I'm uncomfortable with the term limits thing. After the FDR thing, where FDR just kind of was awesome president, and then at the end of it, Republicans are like, yeah, we don't like this guy served 3 terms. We need to put a limit on that.
That's
It
actually
makes
one of the
me.
biggest arguments against term limits too. Is that by term limits actually prevents, for instance, me to vote for the person I want.
That you want, right?
That's the main argument. But
That makes me. Oh no, that makes me a little iffy about it. It's
but
like,
for that
what if it's
then,
somebody that you really like who
yeah.
actually is doing a bomb job?
For that then, what I would say to that then is that if you're gonna, I guess, base your opinion and based your policy to that regard, then we should definitely get the money out of politics.
Yes,
No more
yes.
corporate funding of politicians because it should be by the people to support who they want, not
I
special
agree.
interests who can buy their way into an election essentially.
I agree. This is what I mean when I say the left and right. Like, there's agreement, man. It's not when you get out of this thing of this tribal, politics, and you start having conversations. There are things that you agree on. Like, it's not we're just in a wilderness where everybody is just against everybody and nobody agrees with anybody on anything. I don't think that's at all. I always say, from a libertarian standpoint, there's a lot that I agree with. There's a lot. Um, I've joked that I'm a freedom extremist, but I don't think it in the way that look. My issue with libertarianism is if, regardless of how you arrange your society, you can get any society that you want, providing that you're willing to deal with the consequences of that particular society. If you're gonna go with this idea of just me, you're gonna have issues, man. You're gonna have people coming to get you. Um, I like the freedom idea. I don't like this idea of government being over my shoulder. I want to be left to my own devices. It's just like, how do you arrange society in a way that gets you left to your own devices without people dying in the street of
Abusing
Hong
it,
Kong?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. But that being said, I'm more optimistic in the amount that we agree on. I think it's more than just 30%. I think it's higher.
Well,
Honestly,
I'm glad to hear that then.
no, seriously. But this is my thought beforehand. Like, it's funny. The guy who I work with, he's a libertarian. He's like a full-on libertarian, and he'll joke about Sanders talking about, feel the burn in my wallet and stuff like that. And you're having these conversations, you have these conversations with him, and there's a lot that you end up agreeing on, and particularly if you're on the left, like, and you're on the real left. This kind of this liberty idea of the left. This look, I always joke. I want to be left to my own devices. Like, I don't want government bugging the shit out of me. I don't want this thing over my shoulder. I don't want private interests bugging the shit out of me. I don't want the infringement on this stuff at all. Yes, there are going to be some ways where we totally bump heads on. But what is that Venn diagram? And can we get done the things that we agree upon within that Venn diagram? I would say yes. I don't think that answer is yes if you have money in politics.
Yeah.
I think if money is in that process, that money is going to corrupt that process. Look, I think it's manic. I think it's insane that the media doesn't bring that up. They ignore that completely. This guy gets $1 billion to run, and they just pretend like these plutocrats gave this money out of the kindness of their hearts. They don't want anything in return for the money that we're giving this person, this $1 billion.
Just lies, yeah. Of course,
It's amazing, yeah.
yeah.
But the media looks at it and just say, hey, that's a political donation. There's no, there's nothing to see here. There's no corruption in that process. And they would have a conversation. Chuck Todd, Mr. Oblivious, would have a conversation with somebody and not come up, not bring it up. They thought it was horrible that Bernie Sanders asked the question, hey, what are you doing for all that money? He was like, how dare he ask that question? How dare he besmirch my reputation by asking me if the $1 billion that they gave me had anything to do with the decisions that I made in that office.
Yeah. I remember in 2012, Warren Buffett gave the Obama campaign, I think, $936 million. I didn't hear anything about it on the media.
I had to look that one up.
Yeah.
936 million.
Yeah.
Like a super PAC, like just putting his money in a super PAC and have him giving all his money.
Yeah. All right, I guess
Oh man, that's
we
amazing.
kind of talked this a little bit. We've been kind of going all over the place. The whole Trump-Russia collusion narrative now.
Bogus.
Okay, I was going to ask, do you think it's real, or what do you think?
No, that's bogus. Look, my videos go back like 3 months.
So why is it being pushed then? Why is it being pushed by people, do you think?
Because look, Trump doesn't get along with the media. He certainly doesn't get along with Democrats. And they were able to essentially cast him in a particular light. The media is going with a particular narrative. The media's job has nothing to do with giving you information that you need. The media's job is mostly giving you information that sells. This idea of, somebody touched Lady Liberty in the wrong way and Donald Trump was working with him to do it. Well, that sells. That looks, my mom is telling me, hey, boo, I think there's something in this. And it's like, it's bogus. It's bogus. I'm telling you, it's bogus. And then the reports start coming out with Julian Assange is like, it's not Russia. It's not Russia. It's not Russia. You have people on the left saying, well, Julian Assange is, he's going to lie about it. It's like, why do you think Julian Assange is lying about it? They would just put it out there.
Yeah.
Oh, Julian Assange isn't telling the truth. Julian Assange, his brand is honesty. Like, it's not a situation where if you catch Julian Assange in a lie, WikiLeaks goes away. So he has to be honest. Like, he can't pull it off in a way of not being dishonest. Beyond that, Seymour Hersh comes out. with the audio clip talking about it's bogus. Then you find the veterans intelligence professionals, and it breaks, and it breaks in the mainstream. So you have media in Salon, you have what is it, The Nation, you have Bloomberg, all these people talking about, hey, it's physically impossible for Russia to have caused this hack. They couldn't do it. The speeds don't work. Meaning, from a physics standpoint, couldn't be done. It's falling apart. Now, mainstream media jumps from the Russian narrative immediately to there's races everywhere. There's races hiding behind your bed. They're coming to get you.
Yeah.
So this idea that the Russian narrative is falling apart automatically gets transferred into the next shiny object. They don't necessarily talk about the idea that the Russian narrative is falling apart. They just move on. It's bogus. It's done to put asses in seats. You have a billion items that you can talk about throughout the course of a day. You have a ton of items that you can talk about just in the course of your local government, the things that go on, the processes. Those things aren't coming up because those things don't put asses in seats.
Yeah,
The media, yeah,
I was talking with someone the other day about this too. Is like I have no doubt that the Russia did in fact try to hack the election. I know that because we do it too all the time. China does it too. I mean, Snowden showed us how we hacked the phone calls of German Chancellor Merkel and the French president. So I mean, if
well,
we
when you
do
say
it,
hack, though, let's put it in perspective. When you say hack, are you saying changing
tapping,
something
tapping.
or just listening in on?
Listening in on it.
Okay,
But
fair.
I mean, there is. I mean, on my 27-minute false flag videos too, there is evidence like the Great Britain did it and America did it too, where we try to set up our own elections overseas, but through I guess our influence and even hacking foreign
Yeah,
governments. So I mean,
yeah.
it's not a far leap to assume that Russia did try to hack us. That being said, there is no evidence that they actually were able to hack us, nor did they give the DNC emails to WikiLeaks. Just no evidence there. It was a leak from the DNC. I mean, there's
It
more
was a
evidence
leak.
toward the Seth Rich story leaking information than Russia hacking that information.
It is. That's true. It's true. And if you notice, it was like anybody who says self-rich is a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. It makes more sense that it's like, are you telling me that the guy who worked at the DNC couldn't, in any way, it's completely impossible that the guy who worked at the DNC pulled information from the DNC? No, that's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
That's completely impossible. It's more right that Russia hacked us.
It
Are
has
you
to be.
telling me that it's more likely that a foreign government was able to somehow intervene into all of these elections throughout the course of the United States, as opposed to somebody who worked at the DNC pulling files from the DNC and giving those files over to WikiLeaks? Julian Assange has this awesome video where he's in an interview and they're talking about something, and Julian Assange, out of nowhere, out the blue, brings up Seth Rich
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
saying, yeah, these people, they take on risks. Whether Seth Rich did it or not, to me, is kind of besides the point. It wasn't Russia. Meaning that narrative evaporates. Media does this stuff purely because they put asses in seats. They don't like Trump. They greatly dislike Trump. Trump has been bashing the media from the beginning of his campaign up until now, calling them fake news and everything else. And he's been right. Like this story has been going on for 8 months, and this story is falling apart. Meaning, of all the things they could have been talking about for these 8 months, they've been talking about a news story that's been fake and false.
And
That's
I
amazing.
think I have to say though, I think the whole Russia Trump collusion narrative is primarily just a left wing talking point, so they can delegitimize the
It is.
presidency of Donald Trump. Because
In part, yeah, it is.
if they can delegitimize him, then all of those who despise him have no reason to support him or even assume that he is trying to do a good job. Because in
Oh,
their
I agree.
minds, then he's automatically working with Russia. He's a Putin stooge. He's going to bring Russia politics to the U.S.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Look, it's not only, yeah, they're trying to delegitimize him. It's dangerous also. I mean, it's this thing, the Democrats have been rabid.
Well,
Like on
John
this
McCain
Russia
does it
thing.
too, I guess. John McCain, Lindsey Graham, they say the same thing, I guess,
But
about
they don't
him.
like
But
him either.
no, definitely not.
Yeah, they don't like him
They are
either. I
neocons,
mean,
and neocons despise Trump as well, which kind of sucks because if you look at Trump's cabinet, he has a lot of neocons in it.
he's full of neocons.
You
He's
know,
full of neocons. It's like
getting
we're
rid of
gonna drain the
Bannon,
swamp, and he's adding alligators with lasers.
getting
It's
rid of
like,
Bannon, Steve Bannon was, I think, was such a bad idea. I mean, whether you hate him or like him is irrelevant. It's that he represented anti-establishment. He
he did.
represented a group or a political ideology that differs from what Washington is normally composed of.
That's true. Yeah. It's funny when I don't know. I know some people are gonna have feelings about Bannon leaving on both sides, like thinking like, ah, ha, ha, so we got Bannon out and all this other stuff. Bannon was the person who was whispering in Trump's ear when Trump was giving that message of, we're going to protect the minimum wage is going to go to $10. We're going to not have these foreign wars. We're going to protect Social Security, Medicare, all this stuff. We're going to bring back jobs. We're going to deal with China. That was Bannon. That was Bannon. Like the thing that got Trump elected. That rhetoric. Now the left didn't hear that rhetoric. The left only heard the rhetoric where he was bashing immigrants or something like that. But that was a message that those people were hearing that got Trump elected. This economic America First nationalistic message. When Bannon left, Bannon gave an interview to, I think it was the Weekly Standard, and he said that Trump, what did he said? That we won, he said the presidency that we won
Is over
is no
with.
longer there. Yeah, yeah. That was an amazing statement.
Yeah.
Like, this kind of resigning to the fact of, okay, yeah, what he ran on is, you're not going to get that.
I have heard some theories though as well that basically Bannon leaving might actually help Trump because he's going back to Breitbart and he might have more influence there doing media to help
Yeah,
influence Donald Trump's policies.
it's
Now,
possible.
yeah,
A
exactly.
push.
I'm not sure if that's true or not, but whether it is, I mean, it could actually work. Either way, I still don't think he should have did it. I think he will lose a lot of his base, no matter even if Bannon is supporting him through Breitbart. I still think he
See,
will lose his base.
I'm fascinated by this because I'm wondering what you're more plugged into the right than I am, I would imagine, like
Yeah.
the articles and stuff like that. So I don't necessarily know how the right is regarding the Bannon thing. But I would imagine that for the people who were, like you say, anti-establishment, who thought Trump was kind of going against the establishment and everything else, oh man, that has to hurt. That has to burn. That Bannon is being put out that way,
Well,
and that
I
for the
saw
most
some
part,
comments on YouTube and like the Daily Caller and Washington
yeah,
Times, and people were saying like, "Are you kidding me, Trump? Like you betrayed us, etc." So I
yeah.
think he's going to lose a lot of his base for it. But I don't think Bannon though. People I read on Twitter, some people on the left were saying that Bannon's going to be going to war against Trump. I don't think so. I think Bannon is still going to be actually supporting Trump. He's just
Yeah,
going to be doing it from Breitbart.
in a different way.
Yeah.
I've read articles. Yeah, I've read those articles. It's like he's like you're going to war with Trump. I've heard this thing going to war with globalists and stuff like that. Um, I suspect it's a little bit more nuanced. Like I do think he probably will go to war with Trump if Trump betrays him. Like if
Yeah.
Trump goes off the rails. So let's say
Starts tweeting about him or something, bad stuff.
not necessarily about him, but if he's seeing the White House go in ways that's completely against what they ran on. Like because look, it boils down to: do you believe that Bannon has standards? Do you believe that he has certain values? Now, I may disagree with those values to some degree, but do you believe if somebody who supports him, do you believe that Bannon has values? And if you believe that Bannon has values, and he has a basic bottom level of integrity that he works on, and again, I'm saying this from the perspective of that side, then yeah, if somebody is betraying that particular thing, that particular idea, what is Bannon going to do? Is Bannon going to toe a line purely because it's Trump, or is Bannon going to just stay true to his principles? That's the question. I mean, if Trump is going off the rails, is he going to have a go at Trump?
You know,
Oh, it's fascinating to me. I'm sitting like when Bannon came out, I was like, oh, what's going to happen? Are Trump supporters going to be bad? Are Trump supporters still going to support him? Is Breitbart going to go after Trump if Trump in the White House goes off the rails? Look, him making that statement that the White House or the Trump that we thought we had or the presidents that we want is no longer. That's an amazing statement. Like that statement is a damning statement in regards to a damning amount of condemnation of that particular administration. Now, whether he continues with something like that, that's the catch. What is Trump going to do? And if Trump betrays him, and not betrays him like as an individual of I'm taking having to go at him, but if Trump all of a sudden passes the Trans-Pacific Partnership, let's say Trump goes back and says, you know what, TPP is awesome. I think TPP is just fucking awesome. I'm going to sign this bill. If Trump does that, does Bannon just ignore it, or does Bannon actually have a go at him about it? That's what I'm curious
yeah,
about.
it should be
Well,
interesting. You know, I think too that Trump firing Bannon also has an existential kind of problem as well, because it seems like the left-wing media was pushing really hard for his removal, and
yeah,
Trump basically gave into what they wanted. So now I think they're going to feel more incentivized to actually try to dictate Trump's actions as presidency. Because if Trump gave into them one time over Bannon, who knows? He may get rid of Steve Miller next, or something like that.
that's interesting.
I can see the media continuing to try to, I
Get
guess,
more.
yeah, exactly, get more from Trump to make him adopt their narrative that they want.
Now, do you think he got rid of Bannon because of the media or because it was just stress inside the administration itself? I just don't see Trump catering that way. I mean,
I
man, I don't
think
know.
I'll be honest. I think it was his aides that talked him into it, and I think his
Mm.
aides got it from the media because someone filed, or the House. There's a New York House Democrat who's going to file a censure legislation against him
I
just
saw that.
because of that. I mean, that's a
I saw that.
joke,
That's not going
but
anywhere.
no, I know it's now. That's a joke, but I think his aides see that, so they're like, you know what, this is bad. Try to make an example of someone so you can give the illusion that you are upset over this.
Oh, I see.
To
I
that
see.
effect.
I see. So you think Trump is not necessarily bothered by this per se? You just think, okay, we just need to get rid of Bannon because
For
pressure.
show, yeah, exactly. Just try to gain some, I guess, not really credibility. It's a bad word, but maybe some popularity back. But
Now,
then again,
so what does that make you think about Trump then? I mean, just from your standpoint, like if you believe that he just catered, it was no reason, there was no internal pressure, he just catered.
I think then it would be Trump listens to his aides a lot. I think because it could be John Kelly. It could be John Kelly who is responsible for suggest. No, not yeah, John Kelly, Ivanka, and Jared Kushner. Because Ivanka and Jared Kushner didn't actually like Bannon, so he
No,
listens
they
to
didn't.
his daughter over everyone else. And then if John Kelly also agrees with them, I think Trump is going to take their opinion over what he personally believes.
Oh,
So to
Bannon.
that effect, he's catering to his aides and daughter, who are then getting their advice, not really advice, but getting their momentum or their motive from the left wing media.
Hmm. Okay, maybe. I mean, it's funny. All it's the perspectives on this is funny. Like it's like you're looking at something just as a human being. It is like as you look at it, you have this idea of it. There's like a perspective of it. The perspectives of it. Even the individual himself, like even Trump himself, as he's analyzing or looking at himself, is only going to have a perspective of himself. It's like, what's the real thing? What's the true part? I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I find this interesting just because we're from different sides, and I think being on different sides, our view of it is different. I don't know if Trump is. Yeah, I guess maybe. I guess I didn't think of it that way. I was looking at it more from the standpoint of there was friction inside the Trump administration itself. And that when Bannon came out with that particular story, that was like, what the hell? That's the way I took it.
Yeah, it could be,
Um,
but at the same time, too, I think that friction is caused by, like I said, his aides and his daughter.
his aides.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, that's
in
fair.
my opinion.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair.
I
It's
was
hard
gonna,
to know.
I was gonna bring something up too. This kind of goes back to
Go for it.
Julian Assange. I find it really funny how the CIA director Mike Pompeo basically calls WikiLeaks a terrorist organization. WikiLeaks is no different than CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. They are actually an organization, like a news organization. They don't
That's
break,
exactly what they are.
yeah, they are not breaking the law. They are actually getting their information from somebody who may be breaking the law, but they're
Agreed.
not by reporting it. I mean, Rachel Maddow released Donald Trump's 2005 tax returns. She was not breaking the law, but whoever
That woman's
got their
nuts.
yeah, whoever got that information may have been breaking the law, but she didn't
Yeah.
by publishing it.
Yeah, they talking about drone striking Julian Assange and all sorts
Yeah,
of weird
I
stuff.
heard that.
Um, Julian Assange is a hero.
Oh yeah,
As I put it, the man has been sitting in an Ecuadorian thing for a crime that I seriously doubt he committed. I would even argue trumped up charges. They pushed the charges away. He still can't come out because he's terrified of being dragged to the United States to be put in prison.
yeah,
Yeah, the man, he does an amazing thing. I mean, the information that he came out with the leaks was amazing. Like, think about what he did to American politics. Um, yeah, think about what he did to American politics, particularly the left. Well, the left is looking at this like, holy shit, you guys cheated.
yeah.
And not just cheated, you guys undermined democracy at that point. Like, it's, he already was, like, Sanders was already a long shot. And it's like, you're taking this to the level of a long shot and then changing the results or pushing the results to be in a particular direction. Um, that was Assange. You know what I mean? Like, coming out with the saying this mass surveillance. Again, all this stuff through Assange. No, those snowed, those snowed. But I'm saying the amount of information that WikiLeaks puts out is amazing.
Oh yeah,
That's investigative journalism. That's literally what that is.
yeah.
They hate that because they don't necessarily, they're not familiar with it anymore.
They may
Um,
actually be the one true news organization that has integrity nowadays.
yeah, right.
I
Right.
think if
It's like, we need to get rid of those guys. Those guys are, yeah, he's
they're,
so
they're,
full
they're
of
too
shit.
honest. God. No, I think that if Mike Pompeo or even Trump actually arrests Assange, indicts him for whatever reason,
Man,
it will be the end.
how?
It will be the end of the
How?
Trump administration. It would be the end of
How
him.
are they doing this? He's not even in this country.
Yeah,
Like, what are they using as the met? That blows my mind. Like
they would find a way. I mean, they could find a way. I, you know.
this is kind of getting to this argument about the Constitution thing that I agree with you on. It's like, oh man, these powers, these extra constitutional powers, where are they getting these powers from? How are you?
Yeah.
What are they dredging up? What are they using as a reason? Like when Obama was doing all those drone strikes, he was in all those. He was like 8 Muslim countries. He was using the authorization for Iraq as justification for all of these other countries that weren't Iraq. How? Like, what are you using for that? And where is Congress to say, hey, wait, you
Stop.
can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop. You can't. That's illegal. They're not there. There's no part of. They're completely abdicated their responsibility. The president does
Same
whatever the
foreign
hell the president.
policy. It's always the same foreign policy.
Yeah, it's through both administrations. It's lockstep. I know Democrats want to act like there's something fundamentally different that Trump took over. The foreign policy is almost the same.
Yeah.
It's the mainstream for the most part is mainstream. Whether you're talking about Democrat or Republican, there is some mainstream. Do you really believe there's a massive difference between Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton?
No.
Not so much. The donors are the same. The policies are damn similar. Those people are almost the same.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So, as someone on the left, what are your thoughts on the establishment pushing Kamala Harris for 2020?
They are pushing her, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fail. That's a no.
Yeah.
That's a no. I've seen these articles in Washington Post where they're like wagging their fingers, like, "How dare you not support the establishment candidate? How
Yeah.
dare you?"
Well, for her too, because she's black and she's a woman, so of
She's a
course
woman.
she has more
She's
incentive
African.
now. You know.
She has this identity thing down pat. She's hitting both demographics.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
And progressives and the people on the left are like,
No.
yeah, no,
No.
yeah, no, no, not again, no. You fooled us once, no. Now, the amazing part to this is the reaction of the establishment on this. Like you see Washington Post, democracy dies in darkness. Have you seen this shit? They have this on their thing. Democracy dies in the darkness. And on there giving hate screeds to Bernie Sanders and the people on the left because they're not following him, Kamala Harris. It's like, how dare you not support Kamala Harris? She's a nice woman. She's awesome. You guys are going to get us to lose the House. And there's this cognitive dissonance. You've lost 1,000 seats. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're trying to put it in perspective of you've lost everything. You had a supermajority in the Senate. When they took office, when Obama took office, he had a supermajority in the Senate. You had the House. You had the presidency. At some point, you should have had the Supreme Court. You've had everything. You've lost it all based on the policies and the patterns of behavior that you guys have been espousing. Double down. Let's get Kamala Harris. Let's get Cory Booker.
Yeah.
No, man, that's not going to work, dude. Yeah, that's not going to work.
You know,
That's not going to work.
all-
At the very least, they're being rejected on the left.
to be honest, who they should do if I was gonna if I was gonna vote Democrat, who they should actually nominate would be Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes.
Tulsi Gabbard would
Yeah.
actually be a good first woman president, and she would
Yeah.
have a good campaign. People like Kamala Harris, though, I look at them, I view them as establishment, where it's going to do
She
the
is.
exact same thing as Obama and Nancy
She is.
Pelosi, and I don't see anything different between them. Tulsi
I don't
Gabbard, you can actually, the Democratic Party actually hates Tulsi Gabbard
They
because,
hate her guts.
yeah, because about Syria and Assad.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sanders.
Yeah.
And Sanders. Do you remember when they were sending those letters? Hillary Clinton sent a letter to Tulsi Gabbard. It came on WikiLeaks where they were bashing Tulsi Gabbard for supporting Sanders. Like, how dare you support Bernie Sanders? You didn't support Hillary Clinton in the primaries. Literally sending her letters about this. Like, you should have fell in line behind Hillary Clinton and all those. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard was the one who had balls enough to come out and say this war was a sham
Yeah.
and that the United States were paying terrorists to undermine the Syrian government. They hated her guts.
Well,
They hated her guts.
it's so crazy too. Rand Paul and Tulsi Gabbard both introduced legislation to their respective houses to stop funding rebel terrorist groups.
Yes.
Like, why do we need to have legislation to do that? Why are
Yeah.
we funding the enemies of our enemies? Because we tried that with Assad, and look what happened. ISIS, and they using our own weapons against us and our allies. So we should
Yeah.
not use the foreign policy of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, because when it comes down
doesn't
to
work.
it, they are not our actual friends.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, there's no situation where it worked. I mean, even if you're going to say, like, this thing with Like when we were supporting what is the Mujahideen in against Russia during the Afghanistan when Russia was in Afghanistan. Those weapons end up being used against us. You know what I mean? It's like those groups essentially morphed into other groups that were attacking the United States at that point. Um, even reports came out that where you had people with who were armed by the CIA fighting people who were armed by the military. Like this amazing stuff. Like it's maddening. Or this idea that you're going to fight two wars at once, meaning Obama's like, yeah, we're going to take out Julian Assange and we're going to fight ISIS at the exact same time. These ideas were maddening. Hillary Clinton's idea was to put a weapons defense thing in Syria, and it's like you're going to shoot down a Russian jet.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, you're trying to start a nuclear war. Their ideas are insane.
And
Their
John
ideas are insane.
and
These
John
people are
McCain
maniacs.
loves that. Yeah, John McCain would love that.
Yeah.
I think his goal, I think his biggest regret, because he has cancer now. I think his biggest regret. I shouldn't have
It's getting
laughed. I shouldn't
cancer.
have laughed during that, but I think his biggest regret is that he did not initiate a new Cold War with Russia or a new war with Russia. He wants perennial
He
war,
tried his best.
everlasting war, and he failed. Yeah, I bet he's so mad at Trump for doing that, for not going to war with Russia.
He did his best.
Yeah,
He did his best. He did as much as one man could to kill a lot of people.
yeah.
Okay. No, man, I agree with you on the Tulsi Gabbard thing. If look, if Sanders runs, Sanders is going to get my vote. I don't care what these other guys think. I still will vote for him. But Tulsi Gabbard, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yes, that's a yes. Will they do that?
I can't see it because she disagrees and she calls out when they lie. I mean, if DNC lies, like they trying to push this, I guess, Assad narrative, she called them out on it, and all of a sudden she was trying to be, they're trying to kick her out of the Democratic Party essentially because she
You
didn't
know, there was
disagree with her narrative.
they were writing like articles and everything attacking the woman
Yeah,
after she came out against it. She would be the person. Like if you were looking for somebody who had a certain amount of credibility on the left, that would be the person. Kamala Harris and Cory Booker were summarily rejected.
yeah.
Cory Booker got mauled by progressives. Like Cory Booker, Bernie Sanders put out that drug program to import drugs from Canada. Um, you'd have thought that Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act would have said, hey, let Medicare negotiate with drug companies to get the best price for this country because part of our issue is we pay more for Medicare.
Oh, can you hear me?